The baby monitor went dead. Zara froze mid-lullaby, her hand still stroking Mina's soft curls. The 13-month-old had just started to drift off, her tiny fist clutching her mother's finger. The silence felt wrong. She looked at the monitor on the nightstand. Black screen, no static, nothing. Just dead. Then the lights flickered. Once. Twice. Darkness.
Taejun!
Her voice came out sharper than intended, and Mina startled awake with a whimper. Both twins appeared in the nursery doorway so fast she barely saw them move. But they weren't the men who'd been playing with their daughter an hour ago. The softness was gone, replaced by something cold and lethal. The twin dragons. "Phone," Taejun said, his voice deadly calm. Zara grabbed hers from her pocket. "No signal." "Nothing." "Mine either." Taehyun confirmed, already moving to the window. "Power's cut. Communications jammed." Taejun's hand moved to the small of his back where Zara knew he kept a gun. He's here. She didn't need to ask who. For 1 year they'd lived in peace. Built something beautiful in this Jeju house overlooking the ocean. Pretended the past was buried with Zara's faked death. But the past never stayed buried. "Take Mina to the safe room," Taejun ordered. "Now." "I'm not leaving you. This isn't about us anymore." His eyes met hers, and she saw everything there. Love, fear, determination. "It's about her. Go." Taehyun moved to her side, kissed her forehead, then Mina's. "We'll come for you. I promise." "Both of you better come back," Zara whispered fiercely. "Don't you dare make me raise her alone." "We won't." Taejun's hand cupped her face. "We end this tonight, one way or another." She wanted to argue, to fight, to stay by their side. But Mina whimpered again, sensing the fear in the room. Zara ran. The safe room was hidden behind a false wall in the master bedroom. She punched in the code with shaking fingers, slipped inside with Mina, and sealed the door. The walls were soundproofed, but she could still hear it. Footsteps, shouting in Korean. Then gunfire. Mina began to cry. Zara held her daughter close, singing that lullaby through tears and prayed to every god she could think of. Welcome back to Soul Heart Stories. If you've been with us through parts 1 and 2, you know this love story broke every rule. But what happens when the past comes back with a vengeance? When the father who wanted Zara dead discovers she's alive? Hit that subscribe button right now because this finale is going to wreck you in the best way possible. Let's finish this story. Taejun and Taehyun stood back to back in the living room, exactly like they'd done in that parking garage a year ago when their father first tried to kill Zara. But this time was different. This time they had something to lose. The front door exploded inward. 5 men poured through, professionals moving with military precision. "Left," Taejun said calmly. "Right," Taehyun confirmed. They moved as one. The choreography of violence they'd perfected over decades in Busan's underworld. Every move complementary, no wasted motion. 2 men down in seconds, but more were coming through the back door. Through the windows. "We're outnumbered," Taehyun said, blocking a strike and delivering a brutal counter. "When has that ever stopped us?" Taejun shot back, but Zara could hear the strain in his voice. They were good, but they were fighting to protect something now, not just survive. And that made them vulnerable. One of Daesung's men got through Taejun's guard, landed a hit that sent him stumbling. Taehyun roared, moved to defend his brother, and that's when she appeared. A figure in black, moving through the garden like smoke. Sil. Lito. Efficient. She took down 3 of Daesung's men before anyone realized she was there. The twins froze, staring. The figure removed her hood. A woman, mid-50s. Beautiful despite the years, despite the hardness that came from whatever she'd survived. Dark hair streaked with silver. Eyes that looked exactly like Taejun and Taehyun's. Exactly like their eyes. Taejun's voice came out strangled. Broken. The woman stepped into the light, and her expression crumpled seeing her sons. "My boys," she whispered. "You're so grown, so beautiful." "I've missed." "You're dead." Taehyun's voice shook. "You died when we were 10. Father said." "Your father wanted you to believe that." Her voice was steady, despite the tears streaming down her face. "Just like he wanted the world to believe Zara was dead. He's good at making people disappear." Taejun's knees buckled. Taehyun caught him, and they stood there 2 men who never showed weakness completely shattered. "We mourned you," Taejun whispered. For 24 years we mourned. I know. And I'm so sorry. But we cry later. She picked up a weapon from one of the fallen men with practiced ease. Right now we fight. For your daughter. For your woman. For the family you built. She looked between her sons. Can you still fight? They looked at each other. Some silent communication passed between them. Then they moved, flanking their mother. The three of them forming a triangle of protection around the safe room where Zara and Mina were hidden. Together, Taejun said. Always, Taeyun agreed. And the twin dragons with their mother at their side became something more terrifying than Busan had ever seen. If you're already feeling this, if your heart is racing, hit that like button right now. Because it's about to get even more intense. They fought their way through the house, room by room. And while they fought, their mother talked. Explained in fragments between strikes and dodges. When you were 8, she said, breaking a man's arm with brutal efficiency, I tried to run with you. I couldn't watch your father turn you into monsters. What happened? Taeyun asked, his voice raw. He caught us at Gimhae Airport, had me arrested for kidnapping my own children. She moved like someone trained, someone who'd learned to fight over years of necessity. But he didn't kill me. That would have been too suspicious. So what did he do? Taejun's fist connected with someone's jaw. Private psychiatric facility. Told everyone I'd died of an illness. Kept me locked up for 22 years. The twins stopped moving. The revelation was so devastating they forgot to fight for a moment. Why? Taeyun's voice broke. Why keep you alive just to imprison you? Insurance. Their mother's smile was bitter. If you ever defied him, he'd kill me for real. It kept you in line without you even knowing. How did you get out? Taejun asked. 5 years ago, your father thought he was dying. Terminal liver disease, or so the doctors said. She paused. In what he thought were his final days, he confessed everything to a priest. That priest couldn't break confession, but he could help me escape. I've been watching you from afar ever since. Why didn't you come to us? Taehyun's voice was anguished. Because he threatened that if I ever contacted you, he'd kill you both and make it look like you killed each other. I couldn't risk it. She looked at them with eyes full of pain. But when I learned he discovered Zara was alive, when I heard he was coming here to finish what he started, I knew, this is it. This ends tonight. He's here, isn't he? Taejun said quietly. Not just his men. He's here. In the garden, waiting. Their mother's expression hardened. He knew I'd come. He's counting on it. This was always going to be a family reunion. They reached the last hallway. Between them and the garden where Daesung waited. We can still run, Taeyun said. Take Zara and Mina and disappear again. No. Taejun's voice was steel. We're done running. We end this. Tonight. Their mother looked between her sons, then nodded. Together then. The way it should have been from the beginning. They burst through the garden doors as one. And there he was. Choi Daesung stood in the center of the garden, moonlight throwing shadows across his face. He looked older than they remembered. Thinner. The illness had taken its toll even if he'd survived it, but his eyes were still sharp, still calculating. And when he saw his wife, he smiled. I knew you'd come, Hae-jin. I counted on it. Their mother Hae-jin raised her weapon. It ends tonight, Daesung. Does it? He spread his arms wide. Or does it finally begin the way it was always meant to? What are you talking about? Taejun demanded. The curse, my son. The curse I've spent your entire lives trying to break. He began to pace, and they all tracked his movement like predators watching prey. Did you ever wonder why I raised you the way I did? Why I pitted you against each other? Made you compete for everything? Because you're a monster, Taeyun spat. Because I'm a student of history. Daesung's voice was calm, almost sad. Our family has a pattern. Every generation that produces twins ends in fratricide. One brother always kills the other for power. It's happened 4 times in our family history. Hae-jin's weapon wavered. That's superstitious nonsense. Is it? My grandfather killed his twin. His grandfather before him. The pattern is clear. Daesung's eyes locked on his sons. I raised you to hate each other because I thought if you were rivals, you'd stay sharp, stay vigilant. If you loved each other, you'd be vulnerable. If you were vulnerable, you'd kill each other. So you made us miserable to save us? Taejun's voice was incredulous. That's insane. That's survival. And it worked. Daesung's smile widened. You didn't kill each other. despite everything, despite all my efforts to make you enemies, you found your way back to brotherhood. Then you should be happy, Taehyun said. You broke your precious curse. I would be, if she hadn't come along. Daesung's expression turned cold, and he looked toward the house where Zara was hidden. The foreign woman who made you soft, who made you choose each other, who united you. He took a step toward the house. A united pair of twins is a target. Every rival family will come for you now. Together you're predictable. Together you're weak. Separately you were formidable. United you're asking to be destroyed. Together we're stronger than you ever were, Taehyun said. Daesung laughed. Let's test that theory. He moved, not toward the twins, toward the house, toward the safe room, toward Mina. No. All three of them, both twins and their mother, rushed to intercept. But Daesung had planned for this. More men emerged from the shadows. The real force he'd been holding back. The fight was chaos. Brutal. Desperate. Haejin fought like someone with 22 years of rage to unleash. The twins fought like men protecting their entire world. But Daesung was faster, more cunning. He'd been planning this for months. He broke through their defense. Reached the house. Found the safe room. Inside, Zara heard the door handle rattle. She pressed Mina closer, moved to the far corner, looked for anything she could use as a weapon. The door began to open. She prepared to fight, prepared to die if necessary. The door swung wide. Choi Daesung stood there, gun in hand, eyes cold as winter. Hello, Miss Obi. You're more trouble than you're worth. He raised the gun, pointed it at Mina. Let's end this curse properly, shall we? If the child dies, my sons will turn on each other, blame each other. The pattern continues. You're insane, Zara breathed. I'm a realist. His finger moved to the trigger, and Zara knew she was about to watch her daughter die. Then, a roar from behind. Both twins appeared in the doorway, too far away, too far to reach him. But Taejun didn't stop. He ran, faster than Zara had ever seen him move. No! Taehyun's scream echoed through the house. The gun fired. Taejun threw himself in front of Zara and Mina. The bullet meant for them hit him instead. Upper left chest, just below the shoulder. The impact spun him around, and he went down hard. Blood spread across his shirt like a blooming flower. Taejun! Zara's scream was painfully deep. Taehyun reached Daesung in the next second, delivered a strike so brutal it shattered their father's arm. The gun clattered to the floor. Daesung dropped to his knees, cradling his broken arm, but he was smiling. There it is. The violence. The rage. You're still mine, boys. Still my creations. Shut up. Taehyun's voice was dead. He moved to his brother, dropped beside him. Taejun, look at me. Zara was already there, hands pressed to the wound, her physical therapy training kicking in even through her panic. Stay with me, she ordered. Eyes on me. Stay awake. Taejun's eyes found hers, unfocused with pain. Is she safe? She's safe because of you. Tears streamed down Zara's face. Now stay with me. Don't you dare die on me. Haejin appeared, took Mina from Zara's arms. Shield the baby from seeing her father bleeding. Taehyun was on the phone with emergency services, his hand gripping his brother's free one. You took a bullet for our family, he whispered. I'd take. Taejun coughed, blood on his lips. 100 more. Just keep them safe. You're going to keep them safe yourself. You're not dying. Taehyun's voice broke. You hear me? You don't get to leave us. Sirens wailed in the distance. And Choi Daesung, still on his knees with his broken arm, watched his family gather around his wounded son and realized he'd lost. Not because they'd killed him, because they'd loved each other more than they'd feared him. The hospital in Jeju was small but well-equipped. Taejun survived surgery, but the damage was extensive. The bullet had shattered bone, torn through muscle, destroyed nerves. The surgeon explained it carefully. He'd regain most function eventually, but there would be permanent limitations. Reduced mobility, chronic pain, and the scar. A massive scar across his upper left chest and shoulder that would never fully fade. Taehyun refused to leave his brother's bedside. Zara split her time between the hospital and their mother's apartment where Haejin was caring for Mina. And Daesung, they didn't kill him. That would have been mercy. Instead, they did something worse. Haejin and the twins called a meeting of all the major families in Busan's underworld, presented evidence of Daesung's crimes not against them, but against the families themselves, decades of betrayals, stolen territory, murdered allies. They stripped him of his name, his reputation, his legacy. In the underworld, being erased was worse than death. He was alive, but he was no one. The curse ended not with violence, but with irrelevance. 3 weeks after the shooting, Taejun was finally released from the hospital. He moved slowly, his left arm in a sling, his face drawn with pain he tried to hide. But he was alive. That was all that mattered. They returned to the Jeju house. Hae-jin had cleaned up the damage, made it feel like home again. That first night back, Zara woke at 2 a.m. to find Taejun's side of the bed empty. She found him on the balcony, staring out at the ocean, his hand unconsciously rubbing the scar through his shirt. "Can't sleep?" she asked softly. He turned, smiled. It didn't quite reach his eyes. "Pain keeps waking me up. Didn't want to disturb you." She moved to him, carefully wrapped her arms around his waist from behind. "You took a bullet for us. For Mina. For me. You get to disturb me all you want. I'd do it again." His good hand covered hers. "Every single time." "I know. That's what terrifies me." They stood in silence for a moment. "Do you regret it?" he asked quietly. "Choosing us? This life? Never. Do you?" "Getting shot? A little bit." His laugh was hollow. "Being with you? Not for a second." The door opened behind them. Taeyun appeared, holding Mina, who'd woken up crying. "She wanted her parents," he said, handing the baby to Zara. Then he saw Taejun's face, the pain he was trying to hide. "You need your medication." "I'm fine." "You're not fine. You got shot protecting our family. Let us take care of you." Something in Taejun's expression cracked. "I should be stronger than this. I should be able to." "You threw yourself in front of a bullet." Taeyun grabbed his brother's shoulders gently. "You're the strongest person I know. Now let us help you heal." Taejun nodded, and they went inside together. All 4 of them, 5, counting their mother sleeping in the guest room. A family built on impossible choices and unconditional love. 6 months later, the scar on Taejun's chest was prominent now. Healed but permanent, a raised ridge of tissue that stretched from just below his collarbone to his shoulder. He'd regained most mobility in his arm, but it would never be what it was. He'd made peace with that. What he hadn't expected was what happened one morning when Zara woke to find Taeyun's side of the bed empty. She found him in the bathroom, with a tattoo artist. "What are you doing?" she asked. Taeyun looked up and she saw it, a design being inked onto his chest, the exact same size, shape, and placement as Taejun's scar. A matching mark. "What we should have done from the beginning," Taeyun said simply. Taejun appeared in the doorway, saw what was happening, and his face transformed. "You don't have to." "Yes, I do." Taeyun's voice was firm. "You took that bullet for all of us. You carry that scar for the rest of your life. So do I." Matching marks. His real, mine chosen. "We're the same." "You're crazy," Taejun said, but his voice broke. "We're twins." "It's allowed." Taeyun smiled. "Besides, how else will people tell us apart?" The tattoo took 3 hours. When it was finished, both brothers stood side by side in front of the mirror. Identical scars on identical chests. One earned in violence, one chosen in love. "We match," Taeyun said. Finally, Taejun agreed. And Zara, watching them, realized this was what breaking a curse looked like. Not with death, with devotion. That evening they gathered on the balcony. All of them. Taeyun, Zara, baby Mina, and Hae-jin. The sun was setting over the Jeju coast, painting everything gold. Hae-jin held Mina, teaching her Korean words. "Amma. Amma. Mother." Mina babbled something close, and everyone laughed. Zara stood between the twins, their arms around her. She could see both their scars, one puckered and raised, one smooth ink but identical in placement, identical in meaning. "You're not the twin dragons anymore," Hae-jin said, looking at her sons. "No," Taejun agreed. "We're just 2 men who love the same woman. And our daughter," Taeyun added. "And each other," Zara finished. She reached up, traced both scars gently. "You're more than that. You're proof that love is stronger than any curse." Hae-jin kissed Mina's head. "Remember this, little one. Your fathers chose each other. Chose your mother. Chose you. That's what makes a real family. Not blood," Taejun said. "Not obligation," Taeyun continued. "Just choice," Zara finished. "Every single day. An unconventional family on a balcony in Jeju, scarred but whole, together against everything that tried to tear them apart. No more hiding, no more running, no more curses, just peace. And as the sun disappeared into the ocean, Mina said her first clear word, Appa. Appie, father. She looked between Taegun and Taeyun, not knowing which one she meant. Not needing to know, because they were both her father, both her protectors, both hers. They say some families are born, some are made. Theirs was fought for, bled for, and built on the ruins of a curse they refused to believe in. A curse that said twins would always destroy each other. But they proved something stronger, that love chosen is more powerful than hate inherited. That scars can be badges of honor instead of marks of shame. That two men can love the same woman, raise the same child, and build something beautiful from the wreckage of their father's cruelty. They're not perfect, they're not conventional, but they're unbreakable, and that's enough. All right, besties. That's the end. That's the finale. If this story moved you, if you felt every moment of fear and sacrifice and love, smash that like button. Subscribe for more intense romances that will make you believe in unconventional happily ever afters. Comment below. Would you have chosen them? Would you have built this family? I need to know what you think because this story lives in the space between traditional and radical. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me tell you stories about broken people finding healing in each other. About families that don't look like everyone else's but are just as real, just as powerful. This is Soul Heart Stories. And remember, some curses are meant to be broken. Some families are meant to be chosen. And some love stories are meant to rewrite the rules. Hope you enjoyed their beautiful love story.